are you all doing? What a week it has been. I hope you're all enjoying all the fun family time you've been able to have. And I hope our kids help you spend some good, fun, quality time with your parents, your grandparents, your aunts and uncles, your family, and your friends. So today I am actually up at our family cabin and I'm so excited because all these pans and things I'm using, these were my grandmother's. How special is that? And my cute grandma was an amazing cook. Both my grandmothers were, and taught me so much. They've both passed on, graduated up to heaven. So I love that I'm able to be here in the cabin that my grandpa built and bake with you today using all the fun stuff my grandma used to use. It makes me feel and know that she's here with us. Anyway, today we are going to make one of my favorite things we make at the bakery with all of our baking kids, and that's flour pot bread. So we're going to use one of these terracotta planters. These are just the 4-inch ones, and you'll have one in your kit, and you just rinse it out, let it fully dry, and then before we put our dough in, we're going to spray it just with some vegetable cooking spray, but we'll get to that in just a minute. You can also decorate these. We'll share with you some fun decorating ideas to decorate your flower pots. If you're using something that won't do well in the oven, best to wait till your bread is baked and cooled. And then you can decorate these up and take them as a really special present. Leave on your grandparents' porch or a cute neighbor who is stuck inside and can't leave at all. So let's get baking. So first off, we are going to start with, if you can see my little bowl, I've put my sugar and my yeast. And the sugar and yeast, they feed each other. The yeast is going to make our bread rise, and the sugar just feeds that yeast and helps it grow even more. And it helps it release gas. And that gas is what makes our bread rise. It makes it light and fluffy and puffy. So, but first of all, since we have this dry active yeast, we have to pour in another ingredient, which is some warm water. You don't want your water real hot, just nice kind of faucet warm. And so I'm just gonna pour that in. That's just 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons worth from my grandma's wee little teapot. How precious is that? I'll set that back here. And I'm just gonna use just a spoon, and we're just gonna give our yeast a wee little stir just to help it, encourage it to start dissolving and mixing with that sugar and the water so it will start growing. And we're just gonna set that aside. Next, I put in a microwave safe, just a mug. You can use a microwave safe bowl, whatever you like. And I put in here 1½ teaspoons of olive oil, just use a nice good olive oil, and 1½ teaspoons of butter. And I always use salted butter, but use whatever you have on hand. And I'm just gonna pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds and get it nice and melted. This will help it just mix really evenly into our dough. So my butter and my oil are all nice and melted. I'm gonna show you that. See that? Whoops! Nothing like a little butter on the counter to get your day going. And I am going to take 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and I also set on top of that just 1/4 teaspoon. It's basically a pinch of salt. But you always want to add salt to your bread dough. Otherwise, it's going to taste really, really bland. So make sure you put in your salt. And I'm just going to put this in my bowl. And I'm going to make a little well in the center of my flour pile in my bowl, just like this. And I am going to pour into that little well my butter and my oil. Let's see if I can show you that. And I am just going to use a spoon or a fork. I'm just going to start mixing that around so that all of our flour just kind of gets a nice little glossy coat of our melted butter and oil. And you'll see it's going to look lumpy and not great, but I just want to give it a little head start. Can you see that? Pretty fun, right? And now let's have a look at our yeast and sugar and water. Okay, do you see that? See how foamy that is, and see all those gorgeous air bubbles? That is what we are looking for before we mix it into our dough. And those air bubbles are going to keep expanding and helping our dough rise. Need a bit more. So now that it's all dissolved, I'm going to pour that yeasty mixture in there. And I'm just going to start stirring with my spoon. And once it becomes too hard to stir with my spoon, we're going to switch to our hands. Make sure your hands have been washed. They're nice and clean. It's pulling from the sides of the bowl. And when I say that, do you see how I stir and it's pulling all the dough off the sides of the bowl and it's coming together in like a lump? That's what we're looking for. So I'm going to set that here for just a minute. I'm going to take our little terracotta flower pot and I'm just going to spray it with some vegetable cooking spray. You could also take the olive oil and drizzle in there and just wipe it around. And I am going to sprinkle some flour here on my countertop. Just a little dusting. And I'm going to take this dough. You can see mine came out kind of wet, which is totally fine because we're going to add more into it as we need it. I'm going to sprinkle more flour on top. And so to knead, that's just my oven coming to temperature. So as we knead, you're going to pull the dough back on itself and then push it forward with the palm of your hand. So I'm pulling back, pushing forward, pulling back, pushing forward. That's all we're going to do. And what we're doing here is we're working the gluten in our flour. If it starts to stick to your hand or to your work surface, just add a little more flour. Okay, so I kneaded my dough for probably about 5 minutes. But what you're looking for is your dough to be nice and smooth. And so you can see mine. I'm just going to take a claw of my hand, put it over my dough, roll it like this, kind of helps bring it all together, tuck it under, and see how nice and smooth that dough is. That is what we're looking for. And once you reach that, you're just going to take your terracotta pot that you've sprayed with vegetable spray. We're just going to drop it right on in there, like that. And then I like to spray the top of it. Got flour all over me. It's part of the fun. I just like to spray it with another little squirt of vegetable spray. And then we're going to take just some plastic wrap and loosely put over it, just so it doesn't dry out. If the dough dries out at all, it will form a little crust that will prevent it from rising. So we don't want that to happen. And then you just want to put it in a warm place. Since I have my oven preheating, I'm just going to set it on my oven because it's nice and warm and let it rise there. So we'll watch it rise and then we will bake our flour pot bread. And now while we wait for our bread to rise, now's our cleanup time. When you become a professional chef, you'll have to do all your own dishes and you have so much cooking and cleaning going on that you gotta be real efficient with your time. So while we wait for our bread to rise, let's wash up all of our dishes and dry and put them away. Now you can see how much our dough has risen. It's wild. This probably took about 10-15 minutes. It just depends on how warm your kitchen is and how fresh your yeast is and just some bits like that. But basically all we're looking for is for it to double in size. And now that it's done that, I've taken my plastic wrap off and I'm gonna put it in my preheated oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. And then okay guys, look how gorgeous my bread has turned out. This was just about 20 minutes in the oven for me. And you want it to be nice and golden on the top. And when you knock it, it sounds nice and done. And then I'm just gonna take some butter and I'm gonna peel back the wrapper. And I am just gonna go all the way around my loaf of bread and put some delicious melted butter on there. And see how appetizing that makes it look? Once it cools, you can take a little knife and kind of go around the sides. Have your mom or dad or your grandma or your nanny do it, and until it becomes loose and it'll pop right out. Or you can just cut and serve from the terracotta pot as well. Remember, we can decorate this terracotta pot. We can write a nice little message using a marker to someone we love and care about, or we can color and draw flowers. You could use paints once it's cool. Just make sure not to get it on your bread. But enjoy, you guys. I'm so happy that we had this time together to bake our terracotta flower pot bread. Have a wonderful week, and be sure to hug those you love. Bye, guys.